To the morning news on 6am 92.7, the holiday edition. My name is Noble Crosby, and coming up this morning, Democracy Hub demonstrators unperturbed about the arrest of fellow protesters as members embark on a 3-day protest against illegal mining. Today is day 3. We have details in the bulletin. Also coming up, main opposition, the National Democratic Congress to meet civil society organizations and diplomats over what the party says are discrepancies in the 2024 Provisional Voters Register. Plus, President Kufuor is expected to deliver a speech at the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly, currently ongoing in the United States of America. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome to the program. It's day 3 of the Stop Galamsey protest organized by members of Democracy Hub. Now, day 2 of the protest witnessed many of the protesters being arrested, but leaders of the group remain adamant in pursuing the cause on day 3, calling on the general public to join in. So far, the whereabouts of some 20 protesters arrested is not yet known, but the leaders of the protest suspect they are currently being rotated within some 11 identified police stations. Lead convener of the Democracy Hub group, Oliver Bakavomo, spoke to 6am earlier about the arrests.
The protest is not over. We are showing up today and we're going to continue into tomorrow. We're asking every young person who is across this country that our future is at stake and they must all mobilize and join us tomorrow. The police did an attempt to arrest me, and so I was able to make a getaway and come to your studios to have this conversation. But I think this is important. Nobody must submit to unlawful arrest. But the critical thing is that we have 53 lawyers on standby who anticipated that the police are going to misconduct themselves and have been trying to locate where they have taken these individuals to. These individuals have a right to counsel. They have a right to be advised on their rights in the circumstances. And we urge the police to disclose where they are hiding them in order for them to get legal representation.
That's the voice of Oliver Bakavomo, who is lead convener of the Democracy Hub group, speaking. They'll be touching base with my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe for some more updates on day 3 of the protest. Now, some roads continue to be blocked and the police, they are on the various road sections to control traffic so that the protest will be as peaceful as it can get. Armstrong Gold Alogbe is a man who is monitoring the exercise. He will be joining us shortly for some more updates and any new information on those who were arrested yesterday and what is happening at the grounds on day 3 of the protest. Have the protesters begun mobilizing or converging yet? And what the next lines of action of the protesters may be on day 3 of the protest? All these are details we intend to get from my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe in relation to the Say No to Galamsey protest being organized by Democracy Hub. Now, Democracy Hub, they are the organizers of the Fix the Country demonstration, also the Occupy Jubilee House demonstrations that happened last year. This time, they're demonstrating against illegal mining, asking that government takes urgent steps to ensure that illegal mining is stopped. To some other stories this morning, and President Kufuor is expected to deliver a speech this week at the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly, currently ongoing in the United States of America. More than 120 world leaders have already arrived in New York for the 79th session, which is an annual event. My colleague Sani Abdurrahman is in New York for the event. He sent us this report earlier.
It's that time of the year when world leaders gather in New York to address the UN General Assembly. Last year, discussions largely centered on conflicts that flared up in Europe and many parts of the world. This year, the situation has only worsened. Some experts see no chance of meaningful discussions towards ending the conflict immediately, but the UN is hopeful of making some progress.
I have one overriding message today, an appeal to member states for a spirit of compromise. Show the world what we can do when we work together.
Global leaders face a tall list of challenges this year: rising food prices, the war in Ukraine, Sudan, Yemen, and now Gaza, which continue to claim tens of thousands of lives. The UN says it will need some crucial reforms in order to help address some of these challenges. But a number of diplomats say the political will to adequately resource the UN in order to fight some of these global challenges is just not there.
Top on the agenda this year for Africa is to advocate for debt reliefs, seek support to help tackle the worsening insurgency in the region, and of course, the devastating impact of climate change.
It's important for African leaders to underscore the need for global partnership to counter terrorism.
My colleague Sani Abdul Rahman's report there. Now, the National Democratic Congress is set to hold a meeting with civil society organizations, diplomats, and other stakeholders to address concerns about what they claim are discrepancies in the voters' register. The meeting comes in the wake of growing concerns by the party regarding the integrity of the electoral process ahead of the upcoming election. Supporters of the NDC, they staged a nationwide protest dubbed Enough is Enough and presented a petition to the Electoral Commission to address the concerns raised on September 17 as part of efforts to drum home their grievances. Now, Deputy Director of Elections and IT of the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, spoke to 3FM ahead of the meeting later today.
4 p.m., we are having a meeting with civil society organizations, diplomats in Ghana, as well as managers of media houses and journalists. We are also inviting religious leaders to come and participate. In fact, we are going to have a forum with them, and we will present to them detailed discrepancies that we have uncovered in the provisional register as exhibited by the Electoral Commission and as given to us. We will make it public for them to see and then to appreciate the enormity of the issues, why we are calling for a forensic audit. We just want the civil society to have an appreciation of what we're talking about. It's not that we're just making noise around, but we have evidence.
That's the voice of Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, speaking there. Well, still on the NDC and its flag bearer, former President John Dramani Mahama is wooing supporters from known strongholds of the NPP, urging them to ditch the party for the NDC, a party that is development-oriented, he says. Campaigning in Yamfo in the Town North constituency of the Ahafo region, John Mahama questioned the continued support of the governing NPP.
Obia person na setina etumpon obia person ni krom empuntro ba ni krom NDC so ye ne empuntro hene ye ban so ne echicha ye ka se we anto amame we to mame we anto amame aka sa ne yi mu a aka College of Health FFA ye be si wo ha 2015 e hankwa NDC abreso ene bai so akoye say oh yeah, ebi say yeah, the MPP they try me fruma. Yeah, they try fruma we he. Ona no awesome sa party no. We who call da. Or the whole drain no ho. Ona obre o say they try fruma. Emre asesa emre adane.
That's the voice of former President and flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, urging supporters of the NPP in the Tano North constituency to join the NDC. Now, before we go still on politics, and the presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, has urged Ghanaians to give him a promotion to become the president in the upcoming general elections. Dr. Bawumia was speaking at the palace of Nyakrom Traditional Council in the Agona West municipality of the Central Region.
Vice President, the other is sharing out the buyer or the Abua Ghana for. My country say, maybe one constituency, one ambulance about, maybe agenda 111 about, maybe Zongo Development Fund about, maybe Ghana card issuance about, maybe digital address about, but Obisa Oman Penny Dada say onche policy bakwa or the Aba Eriama and Faswa Ama Ghana for on Jimin Chai.
The voice of Dr. Bawumia outlining his achievements as vice president and why the people of Ghana should give him a chance to become president, speaking there. That's how we wrap up with the morning news on 3FM 92.7. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby. Annan. Good morning.